Hello there, my name is Waddles. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to my Guardian Farm tutorial. So, I've been receiving requests for a Guardian Farm tutorial for, probably all year long now, and here it finally is. This farm will get you tons and tons of prismarine, sea lanterns, and of course, cooked fish. You could also use this farm for XP if that's what you would like. As another side note, this is the exact design that I used in my Let's Play worlds. Now I have two very quick disclaimers before we jump into the tutorial. The first disclaimer being that this is not an original design. I cannot claim to have come up with this farm because I didn't. This farm has been in the game for a long time. I am only the original creator of this video here. And the second disclaimer would be the fact that this is an absurd amount of work. If you're not ready for a massive long project that will probably span over a few days in real life, don't do this. This is not the only method to farm guardians. There actually are methods out there where you don't have to drain the ocean and you don't have to rip down the monument. I only like to build this design because I have fun decorating the ocean around it and making cool things out of the farm itself. With all of that being said, if the video helps you out, drop a like and subscribe, and let's take a look at what you need to collect to build this farm. There will be timestamps to each step down below. So to build this farm, you're going to need tons and tons of resources. In this middle chest are the blocks and items that you'll need to build the farm itself. The items at the bottom are in exact amounts. You will need 16 hoppers and so on. You'll want to have access to water buckets so you can move water around, and then you'll need a lot of building blocks, tons of gates, and then some more dirt blocks that will be temporary. The dirt will be removed afterwards. Now, I did a little bit of math to help you with numbers, and tons of stuff. Now, I have 40 stacks of building blocks in this chest, and then 7 stacks of gates. You'll probably need something like 6.5 stacks of gates. I have 7 to be safe, and then 38-ish stacks of building blocks, but I have 40 to be safe. Thankfully, ripping down the ocean monument will get you way more than 40 stacks of building blocks. If you know of another block that holds up water, you could use that instead of gates, but if it can be waterlogged, that might be a little dangerous. And finally, in this third chest are other things you'll need. You'll need to drain the ocean around this farm, so you're going to need sponges or a redstone machine to do that. You will also need to wall off this area, so you'll need tons and tons of building blocks. When I say tons and tons, I mean tons of building blocks. You could possibly need at least 117 stacks to wall this whole thing off, so be ready to dig up a desert or something like that. You'll probably want the gravity blocks so you can sit at the top and drop them. So, that's what you need. Now let's go ahead and find a monument because that's where we start. So here we go. Here's an ocean monument. The nice thing about this farm is the fact that you can use any ocean monument. You could have one near the shore, or you could have one in the middle of the ocean. Either works just fine. I do advise you to keep in mind, however, the large amount of resources that you will be needing. If you have an ocean monument near a desert, I advise you to maybe consider choosing that ocean monument. That's what I did in the Let's Play world. Either way, move inside of that monument and take out the Elder Guardians. While taking out the Elder Guardians, grab the sponge from inside of the monument because you will be needing that to drain the ocean. Be very careful. There's probably going to be a lot of mobs in here, and it'll be dangerous. It might not be a bad idea to head over to some other monuments as well and grab the sponge from there because the more sponge, the better. If you have a friend who can help you with this project, definitely have them help you. Once you've taken out the Elder Guardians and collected up your sponge, it's time to start work on the grindy part of this project. This is going to take a whole lot of time and consume a whole lot of resources. To start things off, we need to cut the monument off from the outside ocean. To do that, go to any corner of your monument and build out 3 blocks. On that third block, you want to build a pillar going all the way up to the top of your ocean. Break the surface of the ocean with this pillar. After doing one corner pillar, do the other 3 corner pillars. And of course, after having all of your corner pillars in, it's time to start making your walls. Now I advise you to use a block that is affected by gravity for these walls. That block could be gravel, it could be sand, anything that really falls. That's because you can stand at the top of these pillars and just place blocks instead of having to swim up and down like you would have to do if you were using cobblestone or wood or something like that. But keep in mind that kelp will break blocks, so you might need to go up and down a little bit to break some kelp and clear it out. This step is absolutely going to take a whole lot of time and patience. Again, if you have a friend who can help you, get them to help you. After completing all of your sand walls around your monument, move over to the center of the monument. The center is this high piece right here. You'll want to place some blocks to mark off where the center is so you can remember where the center was once we take the monument down. You can wait to do this if you want, but I advise that you do it sooner rather than later so you don't forget to do that. But with the monument and the space where the guardians spawn cut off from the outside ocean, it's time to start draining the inside ocean. To do that, you'll want to go 4 blocks out and place another wall on that 5th and final block. So your columns are 4 blocks wide, like I have here. To start off draining this thing, grab a sponge and place it 1 block below you, like I'm doing here. Jump onto that sponge and look over at your water. You should have one water thing flowing a little more forwards. Place the sponge underneath that block, 1 block under the surface again, and repeat that. Keep alternating sides and keep going down and down and down. Be careful not to lose your sponge, that would be pretty bad, and you can of course break the sponge whenever you want. If you prefer to break them as you go ahead and do that. If you prefer to break them after you're done, go ahead and do that. After draining one section completely, go ahead and make another section 4 blocks wide again and drain that. After draining this second section, you can take down the first wall and move it over and kind of keep jumping over with your walls. You can, of course, also switch the direction that you're going with your walls. You can go long ways, you can go the other long ways. So long as you are draining this whole area, you're good. You could also use a redstone machine to drain this thing. I usually use the sand method though, but it's all up to you. If you are on a difficulty that is not peaceful, when getting near the end of this wall thing, you'll start to notice a whole lot of guardian spawns getting concentrated inside of these walls. Be very careful, that is the dangerous part. I advise you to sleep nearby so your spawn is set close, just in case you do die. And then, after doing the outside of your monument, do the inside. I find that the inside is a little easier to drain because it's easier to avoid the guardian beams. There's a whole lot more things in here to obstruct your view. You'll probably want to start at the top of the inside of your monument and work your way down because, of course, water falls down. Also, remember that your monument may get dark in some areas, so you might want to light it up on the inside, unless you want to use creepers and things like that to help you blow up the monument. Because after you drain the inside of the monument, you need to remove the whole monument. That's going to take a whole lot of time. I advise you to use a beacon paired with an efficiency 5 pick if you have that. Mending would be nice as well because it's a whole lot of blocks. You could blow up the monument, but then you won't get the building blocks, so it's up to you. No matter what, you need to drain the inside, the outside, and remove the whole monument now. You could drain the inside before you do the outside, but it's easier to dodge guardians inside of here. And so, after a whole lot of time, you should have an area that kind of looks like this. Now, of course, I went ahead and prettied mine up. I put glass on the walls. I smoothed out the bottom. You really don't need to do any of that quite yet. I just did it for looks. The wool blocks symbolize where the center of my monument once was. I built the wool blocks 1 block above the water level. The top of your farm should be at Y63 because that is the ocean level. So make sure you're at Y63 when doing this. From your center marker, build out 9 blocks like I have done here. Then go 2 over, following with your center, and place another block. These can be any building blocks you'd like. Copy that on the other corner, just like this. After doing that, go ahead and complete the square to find where one of your 4 corners will be. This is the start to your farm. The nice thing about this farm is the fact that it doesn't have to be centered. If you don't care about centering your stuff, go ahead and just build it wherever you want inside of your drained ocean area. If you build your farm, of course, outside of this drained area, it's not going to work. In terms of dimensions, your farm will be 22 long and 22 wide. You will want to build your farm 20 or so blocks tall. You could technically get away with building this farm smaller or even larger if you want, but these are the dimensions that I like to use. So again, 22 by 22 by 20 up and down. Go ahead and build that giant cube and fill in all of the walls and the floor as well. However, when you do get to the bottom, leave that center area not filled in. There should be a 4x4 hole in the middle on the bottom. So here's my final box. I did, again, go ahead and make things fancy, but you really don't need to do that. I have a 4x4 hole in the center on the bottom. As long as you have that, you should be good. For this next step, you'll want some more building blocks. Move inside of your farm and head over to a corner. Place 8 blocks out in both directions from that corner along the wall. Now you have a big L. Go ahead and connect the L with a diagonal like I've done there and fill everything in. After filling in that corner diagonal, place one final block on the corner. After doing that in one corner, copy it in all of the others. This whole setup here will help the water reach the center so we can funnel all of the guardians down into our trap. After getting your corner set up in, it's time for the gates. You want to place gates everywhere, pretty much creating a new floor. This gate floor, if you will, should be 1 block above the corner block. So make sure your spacing looks like this. Place all of your fence gates on every block, covering this whole area. So it's going to take some time. Typically, I place all of these fence gates first, and then I open them after. You will want all of your gates opened eventually, though. And just to make things easier, you can go ahead and fill in that center 4x4 with some building blocks. They will be temporary, though, and there'll be lava below them eventually, so don't place blocks that you really care about in there. So next, open up all of your fence gates if you haven't done so already. The direction really doesn't matter so long as they are all open. After opening up your gates, you need to get on top of your farm. So if you're in survival, build a temporary staircase up, or if you're in creative, just fly on up here. From the top of your farm, place a dirt block 1 block in downwards. The dirt block should be on Y62. You need to fill this whole thing in with dirt blocks. This dirt will be holding up the water that we will eventually let spill down into this farm so the guardians can spawn. So cover this whole farm with dirt like I'm doing here, 1 block lower than the top ledge. And then, after placing all of the dirt, place water sources on a diagonal in the middle to create water everywhere on this level. Again, we will be removing the dirt eventually, so all of this water can pour all the way down into our farm and, of course, allow the guardians to spawn. And believe it or not, this is actually most of the farm. Now, to finish things off, we do need to build the grinding area of this farm. This is the part of the video where things kind of go in 2 different routes depending on what you want. Either way, start off by building 6 blocks down from that center 4x4 area below your guardian box. Make sure you still keep that 4x4 in the middle. It could be open or it could be filled in depending on what you decided to do earlier when placing the fence gates. Make sure you fill your walls in completely. I'm going to make mine look nice because that's what I like to do, but you could just go ahead and place all cobblestone or all prismarine or whatever you want here. On one side of the farm, place a double chest. This is where you will be collecting everything. Then, going into that double chest, place 16 hoppers as the floor to this room. Make sure you place your hoppers smart so your items don't get all clogged up in this thing. The rates of this farm could be pretty good, and if your hoppers are getting clogged up, items will be just idling around on top of here. Also, definitely plan on needing to expand your storage because one double chest is going to fill up pretty fast. Now you need to decide if you want your farm to be for XP or just for loot and completely automatic. If you want your farm to be 100% automatic, you do nothing and you just get tons of loot, place your signs 2 blocks above your hopper floor. If you want to collect XP from your farm, place your signs 3 blocks above the hoppers. You want signs on every block, so you'll need 16 signs total. You should be able to place your signs on top of each other so they kind of fill up this whole area and make a fake floor. Don't worry about getting the lava in your farm quite yet. The lava is, of course, very, very dangerous. If you did place a floor on this 4x4 middle, clear that out. While inside of your farm, below the fence gates, with the dirt still up high, place water sources in each corner, and then 2 in the middle. If you copied my dimensions, the water should pour right to the middle, but not fall down in. That is exactly what we want. Now, move up to the top of your farm somehow. If you're in creative, fly up. If you're in survival, climb a staircase up, and remove the dirt floor above you. Let the water pour all the way down to the fence gates. You should notice that the fence gates are holding up the water. Something kind of like that. And then finally, to activate the farm, place your lava inside of the thing. The lava should be on any of the 4 center blocks. You will notice that the lava will spill out and kind of spread everywhere. That's fine, that's normal. But lava doesn't reach one corner. That's absolutely okay because guardians are a little larger and kind of jump around, so they all should still catch on fire. Now I have my farm set up for XP, so I'll need to leave a window so I can actually hit the guardians. The lava will bring the guardians' health down quite a bit. If you aren't using this farm for XP and just collecting drops from it, like I usually do, then you don't need a window. Just completely fill this farm in. And of course, make sure your signs are lower so the guardians can jump up and touch the lava every once in a while. There are really 2 final things to know. To improve your rates, put a ceiling on this farm. The ceiling isn't necessarily necessary, but guardians will spawn more frequently if they're in water that is not open to the sky. And also, when using this farm, do not stand, immediately underneath it. You should be able to stand somewhere in this drained ocean area, but if you stand right underneath the farm, some guardians may not spawn because you're too close for mobs to spawn. Also, if you want to try and improve your rates, you could go ahead and light up caves, but really that shouldn't be necessary here. You should get tons and tons of spawns already. As an added bonus, you might notice that slime are spawning on the bottom of your ocean floor, like the drained area, and so maybe you could set up a few slime traps and collect some slime balls as well. And so, after all of that, you should have a functioning guardian farm. As you can see behind me, there are tons and tons of guardians spawning inside of this thing. The chest is the chest is definitely overflowing. So yeah, you'll need to plan on expanding the storage of this thing. But that's the Guardian Farm tutorial. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them down below, and I will try and get back to you. You could also shoot me a message on Twitter or Discord as well. If you do build the farm and you do something cool with it, send me some screenshots on Twitter. I absolutely love that stuff. If you liked the video or it helped you out, drop a like and consider subscribing. I'll have my tutorial playlist on the end slide in just a few moments. What tutorial would you like to see next? I have a Patreon if you want to support me directly, but that is, of course, entirely optional. My name is Waddles. Thank you very much for watching. I apologize for the length of the video, and go have a good day. Goodbye, everybody.